Okay. So yesterday we took some time and we talked about recognizing when it's arithmetic and when it's geometric and when it's neither. And then today we're going to have some where we're going to find a missing part. So we're going to, like, for example, number 7, we know the first term and the fourth term and we're going to find D. Or we know the 12th term and D and we're going to find the first term. So to do those 7 through 10, we're going to need the formula for an arithmetic sequence, which is this one. So I'm just going to write it at the bottom of my page. That's the one right there. Yeah. So I'm just going to write it at the bottom of my page so I can use it without having to look around everywhere. You guys might not need to. All right. And so on this one, on number 7, I know that the fourth term is negative 12. So that's going to be my A sub n is negative 12. And then n is going to be this 4. So whatever term that was, that's going to be 4. All right. And then A sub 1, it tells you straightforward, A sub 1 is 3. So I'm going to take those things, I'm going to put them in to my formula, and then I can find D. So in the place of A sub n, I'm going to put negative 12. In the place of A sub 1, I'm going to put 3. And then in the place of n, I'm going to put 4. And then it still has the minus 1 in the formula. And then D is what I'm going to look for. Great. And then we just have a few steps we need to do to solve this for D. What would you guys do first? Okay, 4 minus 1 is going to be 3. All right, and then what would I do with the other 3? If I want to solve it for D, what would I do with the other 3? This 3 right here. Subtract it from 12. So since it's positive, I'm going to want to subtract it. So that's going to be negative 15 equals 3D. All right, so what would I do to find D? Divide by 3. So D is going to be negative 5. All right, so I'm going to do this a little out of order. Number 9 is a lot like number 7. So let's just go ahead and do number 9. All right, so this is the information. Oh, hold on. We're going to change this 4 on number 9 to a 5 just so we don't get some kind of weird answer. That was just a typo on my part. All right, so on this one, A sub n is going to be this 27. N is going to be 5. Right. And then we're going to just start plugging them into that formula. And then we'll just follow the same steps we just did. Right. And then on this one, we're going to get that D is 4. Now we're going to do a couple more that we have a different missing information. So what we're missing on 8 and 10 is the first term.
Is it mostly like this?
Is what mostly?
What we're learning today, is it mostly like
Well, we're going to do this with the arithmetic, and then we're going to do something with the geometric, and then we're going to do application. So we're doing like 3 different things today. All right. So same formula. This time a sub n is going to be 6. What's n going to be? 12. All right, d is going to be 2, and we're going to be looking for the first term. So let me zoom out a little bit. So I'm going to take those things, and I'm going to plug them into my formula. Oops, hold on, that was wrong. And the thing we don't know this time is a sub 1. All right, so what I would do first would be this part right here. So a sub 1 is just going to kind of hang out for a second. And then we're going to do 12 minus 1, which is 11, and multiply that by 2, 22. All right, and then what would we do to solve this for a sub 1? What do we do with that 22? Since it's added to a sub 1, we would subtract it, and we would get that a sub 1 is 16. Oh, sorry, negative 16. All right, you guys okay? All right, let's practice one more like this, and we're going to move on to geometric. All right, so you guys figure out, please, on your own what a sub n is and what n is. All right, and then I'm just going to plug everything into my formula. And the only thing missing should be a sub 1. Okay. So then I'm gonna do this. And if you wanted to, you could do type just this part in your calculator and it can give you the answer, or you could do it in your head. It's up to you. But first you would subtract and get 9, and then multiply 9 by 3, and it's going to be 27. Right, and then our last step is just to subtract that, and we have our first term. All right. So that's finding missing parts. Just kind of like just solving an equation. All right. We're going to find missing parts on geometric sequences. Same thing. We're just going to be solving an equation for something that's missing. Obviously, it's going to be a little different because the formula is different. So the formula for a geometric sequence is a sub n equals a sub 1, and then in parentheses r raised to the n minus 1.
how do you tell the difference between?
Well, this one tells you, and it tells you it's geometric, and the other one told you it was arithmetic. You wouldn't know otherwise. You don't have terms to figure that out. It has to tell you. All right, so our a sub n is going to be negative 68. Our n is going to be 5. Our r is going to be 0.5. And a sub 1 is what we're finding. All right. Now what I would do on this 0.5 raised to the 5 minus 1 is just type that in the calculator. Oh, I did it already last class. Instead of doing 5 minus 1, I just did 4. So that a sub 1 is going to get multiplied by that decimal. Right. What would I do to solve this for a sub 1?
Good luck.
Good job. All right, so negative 68 divided by that decimal is going to be negative 1,088. Well, someone in my last class that confused them because the number went from 68 to 1,000, and that's what happens when you divide by something less than 1, the number gets bigger, always. All right, so we're going to go ahead and skip down and do number 13 because it's similar to that one. All right, and I'm just going to substitute everything in. All right, so 6 to the 7 minus 1, or 6 to the 6th, is a pretty big number. It's 46,656. And then just like the last problem, we're going to divide. And that should give us what A is. A1 is. All right, any questions? Okay, let's do a similar situation, but this time we're finding R. All right, so A sub n is going to be 4,459. N is going to be 4. All right, so first thing we'll do, divide through by that 13. And then subtract 4 minus 1, that's going to be 3. So if this is what R cubed is, what are we going to do to find what R is? What do you think? Not multiply. It's okay. Not divide. The cube root. So we're going to do the cube root of both sides. Now, if you need to know how to do the cube root in the calculator, it's been a little while since we've done that. You're going to hit math. And then you're going to choose number 4. So number 4 under math means the cube root. And then put 343. So R is 7. right, so we're gonna do another one similar to that. We'll divide by 2. All right, and how are we going to get rid of this square? Square root. Now be careful. When it's a square root, you actually have to take the positive and negative square roots. So there's actually 2 things R could be. It could be 7 or it could be -7. So we could do 2 times 7 times 7 again and get 98, or 2 times -7 times -7 and get 98. So it could be either one. I would think that this might be multiple choice, but yeah, if you only get the positive 7, you're only getting one of the 2 answers. Hopefully, if you see the multiple choices, you'd remember. All right. Now, the last 3 we're going to do are application problems. This is because Nolan asked yesterday about when we ever going to use this. Just kidding. I'd already made the sheet. It wasn't because of Nolan. All right. So Ian is playing a video game, and the number of points he has earned after every hour is shown below. Determine whether this represents arithmetic or geometric. So let's do that first. You can kind of tell that you're not adding something each time. Like, you could check. So if you took 480 and subtracted 384, that's 96. But then when you take 600 and subtract 480, that's 120. So it's definitely not subtracting. So what I'm going to do next is take 480 and divide it by 384. Right, and that gives you 1.25. And we'll do the next one. 600 divided by 480 is also 1.25. And we can just check one more time to be sure. 750 divided by 600 is 1.25. So that means this is geometric. And it also means that R is 1.25. Okay, now we're not done, because the second part says to then find the approximate number of points earned after 9 hours. So that's asking us to use a formula, this one right here, because it is geometric, for 9. So this is going to be a sub 9. Fix that. Right, and then the first term is that 384 and 1.25 raised to the 9 minus 1. Now the reason I did n is 9 is because we're looking for 9 hours. Right, and then you just type that in the calculator, and it's 2,288.19 points. 9 hours playing a video game. That's a lot. Is it not 0.19?
I got 2,288.830.
Huh. I might have typed it in wrong. Yes. I overlooked that first 8. It's going to be 82. All right. Let's look at the next one. The next one, Michaela is building a pyramid of paper cups. The bottom row has 61 cups, while the top row has only 1 cup. If there are 16 total rows and the number of cups on each row represents an arithmetic sequence, find the total number of cups. So do you guys want the top row to be row 1 or the bottom row to be row 1? It doesn't matter. Someone just has to decide. Top's row 1? Okay. So row 1 is going to have 1 cup. So A1 is 1. The bottom row has 16 cups, and it also tells you there's 16 rows. So that means that A sub 16 is 61. All right, and N is 16. Now what we don't know is D, but we just practiced doing the exact same thing I need to do right here. So I'm going to take this formula, I'm going to put in everything except D, and then I'm going to find D. All right, so A1 is 1, AN is 61, and N is 16. All right, so I know D is 4. All right, and then I want the total number of cups. So when you want a total number, you want to do a summation. So we're going to do the summation from n equals 1 to 16 of this formula. And that's going to be 496 cups. So if you planning on doing a cup pyramid, you might want to know how many cups you need before you start. It's real life application here. Okay, one more, and this last one is about interest on an account. So the amount of interest that Ben earned on his savings account for the past 3 years since opening the account is shown in this table. Determine whether this pattern is arithmetic or geometric. So let's do that first. Like, can you just look at it and tell you're not adding the same thing every time? Like, the numbers are too different. Like, you added something and got 20 cents and then added something else and got 12 cents. Like, that's not going to happen. So if it was me, I would check the dividing first. So I would take 79.20 and divide it by 72, and you get 1.1. And then take 87.12 and divide it by 79.20. Oops. And you also get 1.1. So this is geometric. And R is 1.1. All right. Am I going to do a sum here, or am I just going to do a term? If I want the total amount of interest, we're going to do a sum. We're going to do the sum of 20 years. Okay, the sum formula we haven't talked about today for geometric sequences is this one. So I'm just going to put 20 in for n. I'm going to put 72 in for a sub 1 and 1.1 in for r. That should not be a plus. All right, and then if you do alpha y equals and just type that in, that should be what you get. That's the total amount of interest for 20 years. All right, so yesterday you guys had some problems to do on this Unit 10 Homework 5. So today is just the back. It's 8 problems on the back, 14 through 21. And this is the last lesson. This is the last lesson in sequences and series. So tomorrow we're going to do a review, and then we're going to have a test on Friday.